Get in the car. You're arrested for DUI.
You want me to sue the son of a county sheriff because he arrested my kid on a false warrant?
Back. Taking a step back. Ready to take apart.
Cops have to deal with all kinds of violent and terrifying criminals on the job. But what happens when it's their own children they have to arrest?
Get in the car. You're arrested for DUI.
Teresa. On December 28, 2022, a witness saw a white vehicle hit a traffic signal and then speed away. Following the collision, a portion of the vehicle's bumper fell off the road. Police found the suspect's vehicle at a gas station across the street, about 15 minutes after receiving the call. The driver was the last person they expected to see.
Okay. So you're coming from Applebee's right now?
Yeah, I had a drink.
Okay. Which way did you take to go from Applebee's to here?
I went around at the light at Route 9, and I came back from here. And then
The very thing 21-year-old Teresa says is that her father is a police officer in the area, most likely expecting that he will come and pull her out of the dilemma. However, the cops on the scene are certain that things have progressed much beyond that.
my dad is a sheriff's officer.
But smoking marijuana isn't the only part of her story that doesn't make sense. She claims that her bumper was already hanging off from an accident in Pennsylvania about 25 miles away, and that it just happened to fall off just as another car identical to hers hit a traffic pole. Teresa seems to have created a plan that might just get her out of this, or so she hopes.
Drink at Applebee's, I'm like scared out of my mind right
But
now.
Teresa, I explained to you this before. Lying isn't going to get you
not
anywhere.
lying.
We just need to know the truth.
You just lied.
You just lied. We just caught you in a lie.
And you told me
found this piece over by the traffic light by Lowe's. You said that piece fell off in Pennsylvania.
In only a few minutes, Teresa mentions her father 5 times, obviously hoping he can help her find a way out of this. However, the police are starting to focus on what really happened and start to acquire at least some of the truth from Teresa before he can arrive to save her.
And that's where this piece was.
And that's really where that piece was, yes. I probably hit that one.
You did hit that.
I hit it
You see this?
I hit it here before this. You can ask my dad.
This piece fell off at the traffic light that you hit.
In the course of this brief conversation, Teresa admits that she did hit something, that she was texting while driving, and that she was more drunk than they had realized. Each of these driving offenses carries a separate penalty. The detectives decided to speak with her father, John, now that the truth has come to light, but it turns out he is not there to help her.
Give your dad a call, now that we've figured out what's happening.
and you're telling someone of the truth.
I still just don't understand how she comes out of that.
I don't. Is that bag with Glock that's on your face and all over your car? Is that from Applebee's? That's from Applebee's. That's an Applebee's bag. Oh, it's not an Applebee's bag.
No, it's Aguero's.
John explains that Teresa did hit a deer earlier and that the damage was on the front right bumper, but it was nowhere near as serious as the damage the car was currently sustaining. It looks like Teresa will not be receiving the redemption she had hoped for from her father. He arrived at the scene 5 minutes later to speak with the cops.
You keep saying, like, and where the damage was and everything, doesn't really make too much sense. So, tried to get some more information out of her, but and then that piece of bumper there. So, for the other one, was it just like the bumper wasn't hanging like that?
Yeah, no, so what it was is basically this was intact.
Okay.
This piece was missing, and the scratches here, that's all from the deer that she...
The police officers who arrived initially at the incident appear to be expecting John to try to defend his daughter and becomes nervous when he inquires about their supervisor. Obviously, there are countless instances of corruption when officers, particularly those in higher ranks, are able to utilize their position of authority to keep their families out of trouble. But as he checks his text messages from her to try and compile a timeline of events, The officers quickly realize all he's trying to do is gather all the information on the situation so he can make a fair assessment himself.
The car to see if there's any difference. Yeah. You know, but if she hits something, she hits something. She hits something. Yeah, she hits something. Yeah, she's gonna know she hit the pole, but she might not think like, oh, okay, maybe I can make damage. Like I could see that stupid thing going in her head. So, but a lie's a lie. It is what it is.
Despite John's willingness to assist the officers, the sergeant on the scene requested that he not get involved in order to protect the integrity of the investigation. So far, everything has been wonderful, with the exception of Teresa's behavior, and this is a terrific example of proper policing. Teresa had said earlier that she'd only had one drink at Applebee's, but it's beginning to appear that she's a little more drunk than they realized. Suspicions that were only validated after a few field sobriety tests.
I have to read you the statement. There's 9 paragraphs I should read you. I want you to listen up, okay? Number 1, you've been arrested for driving while intoxicated, NJSA 39:4-50. Number 2, the law requires that you submit samples of your breath for the purpose of testing to determine alcohol content.
Teresa was driven to the police station, and her blood alcohol level was checked after being forced into the police vehicle by her own father. It came back at 0.17%, which is more than double the legal limit. Teresa is still awaiting her penalty as of this upload, although she has been issued a court summons for driving under the influence, dangerous driving, and failure to report a car collision. Kenneth. Teresa's father followed protocol exactly. However, Kenneth Adams' father did the exact opposite when he attempted to use his influence as a commissioner to free his son from prison.
You want me to sue the son of a f***ing county sheriff because he arrested my kid on a false warrant?
Before we continue, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our future videos. Kenneth Adams was pulled over in November 2022 for failing to stop at a stop sign. However, Kenneth was in even more trouble than he realized.
Well, then my question is who... This is a joke. This is seriously the biggest joke I've ever heard of. When you turned on your lights, I knew there was some bullshit going on.
It issued October 13th.
For what?
This year.
The officer took Kenneth's license and ran it through the system, where he discovered Kenneth had a warrant out for burglary and theft of a vehicle. Kenneth suddenly becomes defensive and refuses to exit the car. Kenneth maintains that he has already been in court for earlier offenses, yet the warrant still calls for his arrest. This is because the suspect is required to submit documents proving their attendance at court.
In a police report, he wrote that Commissioner Adams showed up and demanded to see the warrant. I told Bruce I could not show him personal returns on my computer. Bruce replied that I better show him the warrant right away.
In addition, they must complete any classes ordered by the judge. The court cannot confirm their attendance without those documents. So when Kenneth failed to turn in his documents, the warrant remained open, and the police had no means of knowing if he had actually appeared in court. Kenneth was escorted to the station, but this is when his father, Bruce Adams, arrived, who turned out to be the county commissioner for the area. How convenient for Kenneth. Bruce sought to know what was going on as soon as he arrived and began to exhibit signs of corruption.
When you take the cars, we don't have to impound it.
I don't want it impounded.
I know, that's why we're letting you take it.
Bruce is clearly attempting to exploit his position to persuade the commissioner to release his kid from custody.
Yeah, when I sit here with the car.
Why?
For a warrant.
Who do I call to find out?
To find out the warrant?
You're a police officer. Tell me who I call to find out why he's in jail.
But fortunately, this officer holds firm and refuses to give in. Kenneth was eventually released from prison. Marion. The warrant was dismissed and no further action was taken against Bruce, but the cops who arrested this law student were not so fortunate. Marion Humphrey, Jr., son of former County Judge Marion Humphrey Sr., was pulled over after an officer allegedly observed him driving dangerously. Footage shows him swerving slightly after missing his exit.
When did you rent the car?
Yesterday.
Then you gotta take it, turn it back in a Fayetteville, or?
I don't.
Pick it up in Fayetteville?
I'm sorry, sir. Is it?
Marion gets flagged down by the cop and pulled over. He is then informed that the cop saw him nearly destroy his car and is suspected of reckless driving.
Step back. He's making me step back 7 feet apart.
Let me see your left hand.
Being a law student, Marion asks the police whether he has probable grounds to pull him over. The officer attempts to come up with a solid response before declaring that Marion seemed super nervous. First and foremost, being nervous is not a crime and is not evidence of a crime, and secondly, Marion carries himself exceptionally well in this position. He complies with the police's inquiries and inquires as to why he was stopped and detained. He also contacted his father to listen in on the entire arrest, which plainly irritated the officer, who then requested to search Marion's U-Haul. Marion does an excellent job of clearly demonstrating how terrible it might be to be stopped by the police while remaining calm and respectful with the officer throughout. Regardless, Marion is handcuffed for more than an hour as cops search his vehicle with a dog. According to the officer, the dog detected narcotics and informed the officers before they entered Marion's U-Haul. The cops, predictably, discover nothing in the vehicle. Marion subsequently filed a lawsuit against the officers, alleging that they infringed on his 4th and 14th Amendment rights. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos.